what comes in handy. This article for this week is intention for our teachers. Sometimes we face different classroom environments, these different institutional settings, where sometimes one of them may seem to have a social reality that is intricate and very complex. That the main issues are easy to see in a big spectrum, but closer they need detailed planning. And in the other hand, we can see a school that seems to be organic, and the lesson planning seems to be flowing. But is it flowing in the right way? Or maybe it needs simplification of tasks, or maybe it needs the thing that we need in both of these environments: innovation, creativity, didactics, and uh, as well as engaging resources. As teachers, for both of these scenarios, we need a detailed planning of this. It is not just about using what comes in candy, because we have to intention our teaching. We have to know what's good for the student. We have to know what, how, and what for are we going to do the actions in our classes. That is why we need clear and grounded objectives that guide the teaching and learning processes. Because planning, sometimes it is a roadmap that guides the teaching and learning processes, but sometimes they might not have a known route. Where are we going to be at the end of those? Because the social dynamics for each classroom is very different. So by doing a better planification, a solid language curriculum, we can anticipate the steps that are going to be taken in and the possible obstacles that can be faced. And also, with the right resources, sometimes it is easy to overcome and optimize these spaces. While improvisation sometimes might seem creative and valuable, especially to look at to handle unforeseen events. A solid foundation in planning helps us reduce the learning barriers. And in the general education law of education, it also regulates planning as an essential element for to ensure education quality and efficiency in the educative processes. For instance, in the article 78, curricular planning is defined within each educational institution. That is how we call this planning. The way we call this planning is institutional educational project. And the teachers need to articulate those intentions, the macro, meso, and micro regulations that we may have for our students. So this is a way to intervene, as teachers should know about the Decree 1290, should know that it is how a teacher can be involved in educational processes for language learning, as well as the Decree 1330 that states and regulates evaluation in our country, as well as the bilingualism law of 6051, which tells us what competencies and abilities are we going to access in higher education and in places with lower coverage. So this, as well as the national bilingualism program, tells us what and how should we intention our desires for planning. And these are not the teacher-based desires. These are the things that the students will need in the future, will need for the professional growth. It's not just about using what is on every web page. It is intentioned. And Colombia already has Colombia already launched some of those intentions in their language policies. Schumann identifies as well 7 categories of essential knowledge, and I'm going to name them. These knowledges came across the educational practices, and these are a basis to enrich our professional growth. So the first one is content knowledge, and this is described as the disciplinary knowledge that we have. The knowledge of educational context, the knowledge of learners and their characteristics, the knowledge of learners, and the knowledge of educational goals. Teachers use these matters and adopt them for educational programs. This helps us define our identity towards teaching and how are we going to attend each uncertainty that may come across the classes. As well, to know what competencies the teachers need to be formed in. And this involves also how research in education is taking place, which helps us position in a better place as teachers. Thank you so much.